Welcome back to Here and Now. A piece of this province is on display at one of the top museums in the United Kingdom. Fossils from eastern Newfoundland are part of a new exhibit at Oxford University's museum in England. And joining us now from the floor of the museum is researcher Jack Matthews. Thanks so much for being here.
Good evening.
Can you tell us more about this exhibit?
Yeah, so welcome to the Oxford University Museum of Natural History. We're on our first floor here where we have our temporary exhibits. And for the next 9 months, we're going to be telling the story of the first animals. And this story is about where we, as a member of the animal kingdom, where we come from. So we're going to be telling the story of a particular moment in geological time, which anyone who's done a little bit of geology might have heard of. It's called the Cambrian explosion, happened about 530 million years ago. And it's the time when animal life went crazy, massively diversified, and we get all the different kinds of body plans, that is the types and shapes and sizes of animals that we see today. But you can't tell that story of the start of animal life and first animals without having an introduction. And that introduction really is focused on the fossils of eastern Newfoundland, because the time period before the Cambrian is called the Ediacaran, and some of the best places in the world to see rocks of an Ediacaran age full of fossils are in eastern Newfoundland. So we've got examples here both from the southern shore, from the Mistaken Point UNESCO World Heritage Site next to Portugal Cove South and Trepassey, and also some wonderful fossils from the Bonavista Peninsula from the Discovery Aspiring UNESCO Global Geopark.
Okay, so you have it all there behind you. Can you take us on a little tour so we can see?
Yeah, sure. So we've got some lovely artistic recreations here of some early Cambrian organisms. These ones are from the Chenjiang biota in China, also another UNESCO World Heritage Site. And as we go through, we start to tell the story of what is an animal and how do we tell what an animal is, both in the modern terms and when we're looking at the fossil record in the rocks, wherever they may be. And then as we go through, we look at some things called trace fossils. These are evidence of footprints or burrows in the geological record. And then we really get onto some of the first big fossils. And the story that you tell so well in Newfoundland is the time when life got big. That transition from a world which was microbial to a world where there were fossils big enough that we can see them with the naked eye. And this is what we're telling here in this part of the introduction to our first animals exhibit. We've got anyone who's been on the wonderful tour down at Mistaken Point will recognize that photograph, the very famous E-surface at Mistaken Point where the tour goes and where so much scientific discovery has happened. And then behind me, we've got a few examples of some of the wonderful fossils from Newfoundland. So this large brown slab you can see behind me is again from the E-surface at Mistaken Point. It's jam-packed full of fossils known as Fractofusus. They are again what is now believed to be some of the oldest evidence of animal life in the world and is in eastern Newfoundland. And then if I tilt you down a bit, you can see this specimen here, which is the black coloured one. That is a replica of the fossil known as Hayotia quadriformis, which was published in 2014. And if you want to go and see the original, you pop up to the rooms in St. John's. That fossil is the oldest evidence of muscular tissue in the geological record. It would have probably belonged to a group of animals that we now call the cnidarians. That is the group that includes things like corals and jellyfish. But the very oldest one, about 565 million years ago, is from just outside Port Union on the Bonavista Peninsula.
Wonderful to see that piece of Newfoundland in Oxford Museum, and it looks like a beautiful museum. Can you show us a little bit more? I know that there's quite a lovely view if you continue walking down that hallway there.
Yeah, so let's just go down the rest of the display where we have material from Sirius Passet in Greenland. We have some wonderful Canadian material from the Burgess Shale, and then a really big loan from China of material from the Chenjiang UNESCO World Heritage Site, a brilliant fossil site from Yunnan province in China. But this is the the main building. You can see our lovely T-Rex in the background there. We have a brilliant collection of fossil material from all around the world, also collections of minerals and rocks, and which I'm a particular fan of, but also major collections of arthropods, insects, those kinds of things. It's open pretty much all year round. It's free to come to, so if any Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are going to be in Oxford in the next 9 months, please do pop along and celebrate what is a wonderful display of the importance of Newfoundland's geology in our understanding of where we came from.
That's great to see. Thank you so much, Jack Matthews. Really appreciate you taking us on a little tour of the museum.
Thank you very much.